Welcome to the Deep Dive. So if you're learning English, or really any skill, you probably know the biggest hurdle isn't always the tricky grammar or remembering vocabulary. It's just keeping going, right?
Staying motivated.
Absolutely. It's that constant battle.
Yeah. So today we're diving into some really practical advice we've looked at, analyzing a kind of framework for tackling that core conflict. You start super excited, and then inevitably you hit a wall, you feel tired, maybe a bit lazy, and you just want to quit.
And that feeling, that up and down, it's completely normal. The research backs that up. It's not you failing. It's just, well, part of the process.
Okay.
But our goal here today is to go beyond just saying, yeah, it's hard. We're unpacking a really structured approach, almost like a roadmap. It's designed to give you specific things you can do and ways to shift your thinking.
Right.
The whole point is to help you keep going day after day and maybe even, dare I say, enjoy the process more.
Enjoying it, that's the dream, isn't it? Sustainability. So we've boiled the material down into 4 key strategies, and they all kind of link together. We'll kick off with the foundation, defining and really holding on to your why. Then making it fun, that sustainability bit. After that, setting goals strategically, but maybe not how you'd expect. And finally, something crucial, changing how you think about mistakes.
Sounds like a plan. Let's get into it.
Okay, so part 1. The sources really emphasize starting with this, well, seemingly basic question. Why did you even start learning English?
It does sound almost too simple, doesn't it? But the guidance is clear. If you don't nail this down clearly, the whole long-term effort, it just lacks that emotional fuel. You need something to draw on when things get tough.
It's moving beyond just, oh, English seems useful, to something really personal, something that could genuinely change your life.
Exactly.
The analysis we looked at highlights all sorts of reasons people have. Some are super practical, getting a better job, maybe studying overseas.
Sure, the career path. Yeah, but others are more about passion, finally understanding your favorite movies without glancing at subtitles, or just that desire to travel and really connect with people anywhere in the world.
And that's where the psychological kick comes in. The material really hammers this point. Remembering that big reason, that ultimate goal, it actually gives you power.
Power. Interesting word choice.
Yeah, it connects today's small frustrations. Maybe you're wrestling with phrasal verbs or something.
Oh, phrasal verbs.
Right. It connects that feeling to the huge win waiting for you down the line. It's like tapping into an emergency energy reserve when your normal enthusiasm is running low.
I really liked the practical tip they offered here, making that big, maybe slightly abstract why into something concrete you do every day, like a little ritual.
The affirmation.
Yeah, exactly. Repeating the sentence, I am learning English because it will change my life. Just saying it.
And the simplicity there is key, I think. The brain really does respond to that kind of repetition. And linking the effort, the daily grind, to something profound changed my life, it helps lock in where you're headed.
Okay.
It kind of stops you from getting lost in just the immediate struggle and reminds you of the ultimate reward.
But hang on, if I'm just saying that sentence over and over, doesn't it risk becoming, well, meaningless? Just words I repeat without feeling. Can one sentence really keep me going when I hit a serious plateau?
That's a really fair point. And the material doesn't suggest it's a magic bullet, the only thing you need.
Oh.
It's more like the anchor.
Okay, the anchor.
Yeah, or maybe like checking your compass daily on a long voyage.
Yeah.
It just keeps you pointed in the right direction, prevents you from drifting too far off course. If your why is genuinely powerful, like, I need this skill for a crucial job opportunity, or I want to connect with family abroad, then saying that sentence does carry weight each time. It constantly reinforces the link between the temporary discomfort and the permanent benefit you're aiming for. It's about building that mental habit where effort equals value.
Got it. So that clarity fuels the engine. Okay, so if the why is our map or direction, the next part is about the actual journey, the walking. How do we stop those big goals from feeling completely overwhelming, or maybe even worse, just becoming dull?
Yes, because the sources point out very clearly that maybe the biggest motivation killer isn't how hard it is, but simply boredom, sustained boredom.
That rings true.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So many people drop off not because they can't do it, but because it starts to feel like a chore, like homework, totally separate from their actual life.
Right.
So strategy number 2 is all about sustainability. Actively finding ways to make your English time feel more like fun, like entertainment.
So we're not just trying to grin and bear it through the boring stuff. We're actively trying to weave English into things we already like doing.
Precisely. That makes it so much easier to actually do it regularly. It lowers that mental barrier. The analysis pulled out 4 really specific, doable ideas that use enjoyment as the hook.
Okay, what are they?
First, media consumption. Watching English movies, TV shows, but using subtitles actively, not just ignoring them, but using them to help you understand.
Okay, makes sense.
Second, music. Listening to songs in English, but then taking that next step, actually looking up or reading the lyrics, maybe trying to sing along.
I like that one.
Third, games. Playing video games or using language learning apps that are entirely in English, forcing you to engage.
Gamification, yeah.
And fourth, the social side. Actually speaking it with friends who are learning, or maybe joining an online English conversation club, making it interactive.
There was that quote in the material that really stuck with me. I learn English through movies. It feels like entertainment, not study. That mental switch seems huge.
It is, because when you're relaxed, when you're actually enjoying yourself, your stress levels drop. Linguists talk about the affective filter, basically, your emotional wall. When that wall is lower, your brain is just much more open to noticing patterns, picking things up, remembering stuff.
Okay.
The findings are pretty clear. When learning is tied to fun, the brain learns faster and remembers more. You're kind of tricking yourself into learning because you're not focused on the studying part.
But I do wonder, does focusing too much on fun maybe take away from the necessary hard work, the deliberate practice? If I'm just binge watching a series in English, am I really learning effectively, or am I just, consuming passively?
That's a really important question. And the advice isn't to ditch focused practice altogether. You still need that. But it is about prioritizing activities that maximize your exposure and minimize the friction, especially on days when your motivation is low.
Ah, okay. So it's about consistency over intensity sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Think about it. If you watch 5 hours of English TV this week because you actually enjoy it, you've probably absorbed more language passively than if you've forced yourself through 1 hour of grammar exercises that you're absolutely hated and dreaded.
Good point.
It's about moving forward, step by step, keeping the momentum going, even if it's slow, and crucially, finding ways to enjoy the process. In the long marathon of language learning, consistency really does beat short bursts of high intensity, followed by burnout.
Okay, that makes sense. And it leads perfectly into the third strategy, pacing. So we've got our why, we're trying to make it fun, but we still need to manage that feeling of the end goal being miles away.
Right.
The material highlights how motivation just tanks when the goals feel too big, too overwhelming.
Yeah, that classic goal, I want to speak fluent English. It's inspiring, maybe, but also terrifyingly vague and distant. You can't tick off become fluent on your to-do list today.
No.
And the problem is, our brains crave evidence of progress to stay motivated. A massive, distant goal just doesn't provide those regular little hits of achievement.
So the trick is to break it down, like really break it down. Dismantle that huge goal into tiny, almost ridiculously small, achievable wins.
Exactly. Radical shrinkage, as you put it.
Sure.
What examples did the sources give for these micro goals?
They were really focused on the process, not the big outcome. Things like, learn 5 new words today. Just 5.
Manageable.
Listen to 1 English podcast episode while you commute.
Okay.
Or speak English for just 10 minutes with a friend this week.
Yeah. Those are things you can actually do. You can check them off. They're tangible, immediate.
Yeah, you can complete them before you even finish your morning coffee, some of them. It creates that feeling of, okay, I did something, momentum.
And that is where the brain science comes in, according to the analysis. When you achieve these small, easy goals, your brain releases dopamine. It gives you that reward feeling.
Ah, the dopamine hit.
Exactly. And by stacking these small wins day after day, you create this powerful positive feedback loop. That consistent feeling of making progress, however small, is what truly fuels long-term motivation, much more effectively than just relying on that initial burst of excitement when you first started.
So it's like hacking our own motivation system.
Right.
Instead of staring up at Mount Fluency, we're just focusing on the next small, easy step right in front of us.
Precisely.
If my goal today is just learn 3 new verbs and I actually do it, I get that immediate reward. It proves to me, okay, I can do this. I am moving forward.
Right. You shift the focus from the intimidating future to the achievable present. You feel a little bit proud, you cross it off your list, and that feeling, that reward, is what makes you more likely to tackle the next small task tomorrow. It keeps your confidence up, even when the overall journey seems endless.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Which brings us to the final piece of this motivational puzzle, This one tackles maybe the biggest social hurdle for learners: fear. Part 4 is about the mindset shift needed to deal with that awful feeling of being too shy or scared to speak because you're worried sick about making mistakes.
Oh yeah, that fear is potent. It can totally shut people down. The material addresses it directly, first by normalizing it. It states very clearly, even native speakers make them. Mistakes, that is.
That's actually really comforting to hear, isn't it? It lowers the stakes immediately.
It does. When you realize that everyone messes up sometimes, even people who've spoken the language their whole lives, that pressure for perfection just starts to evaporate.
But the core idea goes even deeper, doesn't it? It's not just mistakes happen. The analysis really pushes this philosophy that mistakes are your best teachers.
Yes, that's the fundamental reframe, turning errors from something to be ashamed of, proof that you're failing, into valuable data. Essential information telling you exactly what you need to work on next.
So it's about cultivating a positive attitude towards them instead of cringing inside when you say something wrong.
Right. Instead of that sinking feeling, the recommended approach, the self-talk, is immediate and positive. Smile to yourself maybe and just think, great, now I know what to improve.
That completely changes the narrative in your head, doesn't it? Instead of stopping you in your tracks, the mistake actually points the way forward. You go from, oh no, I failed, to, okay, I learned something.
Precisely. And that mindset is absolutely vital for maintaining confidence, but maybe even more importantly, for staying active.
Because if you fear mistakes, you stop trying.
Exactly. You avoid speaking, you avoid writing, you avoid the very practice you need to improve. This positive reframing ensures you keep practicing, because every time you notice an error, it instantly becomes a tiny, specific lesson, which, funnily enough, feeds right back into that small goal strategy.
How so?
Well, your new small goal might become practice that tricky preposition I messed up earlier. And when you use it correctly next time, boom, another reward feeling. You succeeded in fixing the mistake, which feels like a significant win.
Wow, okay. It really is a connected system, isn't it? The whole framework. It's not just isolated tips.
That's what makes it powerful, I think. It blends the emotional side, the big why, the enjoyment with very practical, tactical steps, like the small goals, and then layers on the right internal attitude towards the inevitable challenges, like mistakes.
Yeah, it addresses the potential roadblocks, fatigue, boredom, fear from multiple angles at once. It gives you a system to fall back on, even on days when you just don't feel motivated at all.
Exactly. You don't need to feel motivated if you have the system, the habits.
Okay, well, let's quickly recap those 4 pillars we've pulled from this guidance for keeping your English learning motivation alive. First, remember your core why. Ground it, maybe with that daily affirmation.
Connect it to your life.
Second, make it fun. Weave English into things you genuinely enjoy. Lower that stress barrier.
Find the entertainment value.
Third, set tiny, achievable goals. Break it down relentlessly to get those daily reward feelings.
Feed your brain those small wins.
And fourth, reframe mistakes. See them not as failures, but as your absolute best teachers. Learn from them.
Embrace the feedback loop.
And the analysis kind of ties it all together with that lovely metaphor, reminding us to be patient. Learning English is a journey, not a race.
Yeah, that's such a crucial reminder. It's okay if it feels slow sometimes. It reassures you that you are improving every single day you engage with the language, even if it doesn't always feel like it, because you're stacking those small wins and you're learning from every stumble.
The guide finishes with a really strong positive statement. I can do it. I will speak English confidently. Which is great, but the real question, the provocative thought for you listening, is about putting this into action. Of those 4 strategies we talked about, the why, making it fun, the small goals, or the mistake mindset, which one have you maybe been neglecting in your own learning journey?
Which one resonates most right now?
Yeah, because picking just one of those to focus on, implementing that one change starting today, could be the quickest way to start generating more of that reward feeling, build some real momentum, and take a concrete step towards speaking English more confidently. So think about it. Go make that change.